House of Stassi continues to give.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lot. We're talking about episodes 5 and 6. Hello, everyone. This is But I'll Take a Pinot Grigio podcast. House of Stassi season 1, 5 and 6. So this is going to be a long episode because we have so much to say. So just kind of buckle in, pack a lunch, put your helmet on, and we'll do it. I'm
ready.
Sunday, pop culture professor, expert on all things, people who say mean things but are actually true. Self-proclaimed, that is.
I'm Jeff, former Bravo and reality noob. And also, I like to point out the titles. And speaking of giving, this is one of my favorite of the season so far. It's Giving Thanks. That's good stuff right there.
Thanks. I mean, it is tough. I mean, we pick up right at the same spot that we left off in 4, where Beau was like, and now you're out here making yourself look dumb. And I don't think Stassi could have been more stunned or surprised if he had slapped her open-handed. Like, she was just like, what?
Yeah. She might have been more prepared for a slap, really.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and I just have to wonder, and I know I've said this before, but I just have to wonder, what are the strategic planning sessions like in the room, in the writer's room, or in the production room? Because I saw a podcast with Stassi. I get clips, delivered to me. And she said that in the ramp up to the show starting to film, she was technically their boss, right? She was the executive producer,
right.
But she sent a text message to everybody the night before filming and said, from now until the camera shut down on the last day, I am not your producer. I am your castmate. I will not know what scenes you're filming. I will not know what happens when I'm not in the room. Please treat me as such. But I bet there were some caveats to that for Mr. Beau Clark, I think. Don't you think?
Yeah, and they seem to know where they are. Like Stassi and House of Sunday right here. Stassi and Katie both have referred to like, oh, okay, we're in the 3rd episode, in this 4th episode. So there's something in between that they're knowing, or I guess that was filmed later.
And
the roles kind of
production schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, roles kind of go up and down in this, as you're saying.
And so Beau immediately regrets saying that shit. He was like, okay, I really want to take it back. And Stassi's already up, storming off. And this scene, but upstairs with Stassi and Taylor, really is, I feel like, pretty revealing about what Stassi thought she was going to be doing versus what's happening to her.
Yeah, and I didn't really get, she's like, I thought we were just discussing feelings. Like, well, kind of we were, because you made us do that, and then you just got upset about it when people let their feelings out. Yeah.
I was like, she doesn't mind blowing everybody else's spot up. Like, she came in with writing the agenda down to us as the audience. She wanted Katie and Christina to hash their beef out. She wanted Rob and Beau to do it. And the main explosion, which I had to kind of meditate on it, was that Beau must have said, I don't want to do this here. And she went ahead and she was saying, I was just doing the job we're all here for. It's the rule of the game to air your shit out, except when it's your shit. Right? She doesn't want that to be aired out. And that's what I'm finding off-putting about her presence in this. I think I said this last time. Be a producer or be a castmate or be a friend. You cannot do all 3.
No, not at all. And that will come up again. I had notes on that later for sure. That comes in.
Rob pulled a real JB here and he was like, I'm not used to this, man. I'm not used to everybody yelling. This is not group therapy. This is just group screaming match. This ain't it right here. And I just imagine you saying some shit like this, being like, what are we doing here, people?
Yeah, he's like, this isn't Friends. I don't call this Friends. This is just people hollering at each other, and it is. And that's all it was going to be. Like, when Stassi started in on folks, that's like, what's the deal with YouTube? Why don't you talk to him about this? Like, can we eat this dinner? This is the staycation and baby moon and Chris, like, oh, okay, we're just going to do 900 things at once.
We know what producer Stassi really wanted to happen. But how did she think it was going to go? Yeah, but because she winds up storming off and Taylor's upstairs trying to like kind of pull her back down to earth. Did she think that she was going to just bully her husband without consequence as per usual? What is she's reacting to is the surprise of Beau pushing back?
I mean, no one likes being called dumb. And I know Beau doesn't like that he did that. And that's not a good thing. I'll just say that. But other than that, she does want to just keep, and you could have said this 11 years ago, making other people yell at each other, get other people upset, poke, 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 but doesn't want to be involved in that. Doesn't want to receive any of that stuff. Just wants to be in there to like get people together, but doesn't want to get any of the punches herself. And that's hard to do.
The way she's talking about Beau before he walks in the room, she's like, I don't even know who this is. This is not my person. He pinned it all on me. He's acting like someone completely different. It's not fair. She says that phrase several times over the course of the episodes that we've seen. It's not fair. What's not fair, and where is the line for fair that this situation is not measuring up to? This seems absolutely like Turnabout being fair play.
That's exactly what he's saying to her also. Like he's saying, you started this. This is fucked up and I want to get out of here. I mean, he wants to go, because she won't listen. And I don't know why, because she has all this like, I can't believe, this is the thing you're upset about. Like, you can't believe me and my best friend being forced to air our grievances out in front of everybody while it's being recorded is upsetting to someone. We don't like this. You're doing this.
There's a layer to that too. He also asked her not to do it.
Yeah. Even more reason for them not to have done it. Yeah.
And it's so funny because Paige DeSorbo said something about Lindsay Hubbard, which this is on Summer House, that really feels like she could have been talking about Stassi here. She says, it doesn't matter if Lindsay is presented with every piece of evidence in the world, she is still going to maintain her rightness. That there is nothing you can do to ever sway Lindsay's truth about herself or what she believes. And this is Stassi. And Taylor is even like, hey man, like, chill out, listen. And then Stassi gets really nasty. She's shouting, you don't even give a fuck about him. You don't even care about him. So
that's what I didn't care for it also.
Yeah, it's weaponizing a private conversation, probably that Beau was upset in, that probably Beau was saying some like venting things to his wife, not producer. And now she is trotting them out, weaponizing them against him, but is really, really upset that he does it to her. And do you remember the other day we were talking about the faux wall? Do you remember what I mean? I think it was me and you were not on air. Well, there's this creator named Prozac Barbie. She is actually also a pop culture scholar. I love her. Y'all find her on TikTok. But she calls it the faux wall. And it's when some person in the show gets upset about the machinations of the show, the production, the editing, whatever. And then they are upset that those conventions are being used against them. And then they weaponize the fourth wall against the other person they perceive as doing it. And so it's like, they don't have to go along with it. So like Beau invoking the fourth wall and Stassi insisting on a breaking of the fourth wall is really kind of, they're butting up against each other because neither one of them want them to do the thing that they're doing. Right? So like Stassi's like trying to perpetuate this storyline. Beau is trying to maintain the sanctity of a conversation he had with his wife. And the faux wall keeps going up and down and up and down and up and down. And neither one of them are sort of able to pierce the bubble, which I'm team Beau on this one. I know that some of our listeners say that we take up for men too much. But in this way, I think the dinner wasn't going like she wanted. So she had to kind of pivot to another angle.
Yeah, he calls out the fourth wall stuff, like you're saying, and because he thinks it's bullshit because some things still need to be private and some don't. Or like you're saying, don't weaponize something I told you not on camera to bring up on camera. Like if it happens on camera, then fine. That happened 2 months ago when I was talking to you in our own bedroom. That doesn't mean you get to bring this up here. And she also thinks this whole thing's unfair because she's coached her family and they're not falling in line directly. I think that's a horrible, that's the only line I needed to see in this to go, okay, I don't think I'm going to like where she's taking this.
That was chilling. When she said, I've coached my family, I would really like to know what that looks like and what that means. And then what would Kris Jenner do? I don't know if
Stop.
Stassi is not in the same popular culture that we're in which Kris Jenner gets so much pushback about her presence in her family's life and her like willingness to sacrifice every relationship for money. I mean, like, is Stassi not aware of that
It doesn't.
particular stigma?
Look, Kris Jenner has her defenders all over the place. And there's a reason
Yeah.
she's been on TV for 25 years. It's because of people like that. And it's because of people like Stassi who see her successful. They see that she has successful, financially successful children. They're starting their own businesses. So obviously that's a goal, to try and
It
achieve
is.
right there.
It's a bold choice to align with her out loud on
Yeah.
the show over and over and over again, right? Like that could be a private inside thought that we don't have to know because that poisons a lot of what we see. And that coupled with I coached my family, and maybe she meant because she has so much reality TV experience and they don't, and she was like helping them, but it was just chilled to the bone here.
Yeah. I mean, especially while she's out here with Katie, who's trying to look more like Kris Jenner than Stassi ever could. So she needs to work on that, I think, also.
That's right. Katie's hair looks different in every scene that we find her in. It's just, literally, I guess maybe because she's growing it out and trying to work it out, but she looks different.
Yeah.
I'm always like, who is that? Oh, it's Katie. But Stassi does this thing whenever she's ready for the fight to be over, where she says, I don't want to fight with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say, that's not an apology. Period.
No,
hands down. It's not an apology. I have had experiences with this where whoever it just wants the confrontation to be over, and I don't want to fight, and she struggles with apologies. Yeah, no fucking shit here, ma'am. And
yeah,
you
I
see her
think
literally stuttering over the words, trying to say I'm sorry.
And she's done that, back early seasons of Vanderpump. She does the same thing when it's time for her to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
She is trying to apologize, but she's not even sure what to apologize for. That's the thing too. It's like, it's not that she can apologize. She doesn't really know what she's done wrong because she talked to her family about filming this and now things are being filmed and it's that black and white, and it's not that black and white for anyone else. And I still don't think she knows what she wants, what direction this goes in. The broad picture has gotten away from her, I believe.
Yeah. I also think that she is just so used to Beau laying down that his feelings aren't even a real factor in how she moves and like the choices that she makes. And that when he does assert his feelings, like later on about the sleeping in 1 hour, when he does, she finds it to be so frivolous and so minuscule that it's like, come on, Beau, are you really doing this? And so she just doesn't count him. He does not matter in her calculus of life and choices, I think.
No, and I mean, she can see how there's Team Stassi and Team Beau, but she doesn't want there to be sides. Like you just said, Team Stassi, and you said Team Beau, but no sides. Okay.
And so funny, subconsciously in my notes, I even wrote down hashtag Team Stassi and hashtag Team Beau because we just sort of associate those things. And she says that he can't handle it. No, she wouldn't be able to handle it if people were Team Beau. She couldn't handle that because that would mean that her perspective is varied or could be, indicted on being kind of a fucking huge brat because she is such a brat.
She left the dinner. She left the apology argument. She leaves things all the time. And yeah, JB's wondering, when I'm like, we could stop talking to Jax right now in like season 2 or 3 back when we were doing it. I'm like, we could stop this show right now. Just saying, we could stop. We could wrap it up right here.
Nope, the train is too far down the track, sir. But we did the next morning, and this is when Beau was on the couch, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Stassi already, like, today's not the day to do it. Like, today's not the day to have some big combo with Beau. Okay, well, we already know that they don't really hash their shit out at all. And Taylor is, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Which is a very, very common phrase in my house that I say.
I thought you would really warm up to Taylor about that one.
Yeah. I mean, my 17-year-old hands down would rather be right. Like, it doesn't matter. He's like, nope, I'd rather be right. And he is very forthcoming about it. So, but isn't it funny that we're using the same old phrase, sweep under the rug, as often as in the same context now as that we are in season 5? Isn't that
Yeah.
funny that we're just sort of like rechewing old habits and tropes here?
And it's even Nick. We're getting some more words from Nick. We have 2 scenes in a row now.
Yeah, I just wrote Katie and Silent Bob.
But then she's got to bring up the her and Christina thing.
She
and
didn't
then
even know they were beefing.
speaking of verbiage we were using way back then, she brings up the walking on eggshells. That's another old chestnut of ours.
Right. And then she says again the word. So, yes, the word accountability has come up many, many times. The word being protected, the phrase being protective. Of Stassi,
Mm-hmm.
that is code. That is encoded language for being scared of Stassi, which I also saw a clip of that same interview when the interviewer asked her, she was like, it seems like a lot of the people in your circle are scared of you. And she was like, I don't care. That's not my problem. That is not, that's on them. That's a you burden, a them burden, because that's essentially what she said. She was like, let them be scared. And I'm thinking, you want your husband and your children to be scared of you? Like your sister? I don't know. I'm not. The Stassi's mask is starting to come off, and then the mask that was underneath that we thought was the bottom layer, that one is starting to come off again. And I'm feeling a little shook.
But they all look the same?
Well, one is just like slightly meaner than the next. You know what I mean? It's like out of focus. Everyone she pulls out is just like tighter focus on her face. Like, I'm just like, yikes, those stripes.
Yeah, there is a meanness to a lot of this, which makes it more awkward when it's like the lighthearted stuff comes up. It's like, here's Ryder, the manservant, and you're kind of like, I don't know, man. Is this the right time? Maybe we should resolve some of these other issues first.
Just for our listeners' edification, you absolutely can eat caviar as long as it's pasteurized and refrigerated properly, but you should not in any way, shape, or form eat raw fish in sushi when you're pregnant.
Mm-hmm. So everyone except one person on the show, I think, agrees with you.
Well, caviar was kind of questionable because I was like, really? I don't know. Can you? But yes, you can, because it's actually a really good source of XYZ, blah, blah, blah. I looked it up. I like how Christina goes home and comes back. I find that to be kind of endearing.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Also, you get to see her walk in again. And every time she does, like, they show, I mean, I mentioned it on the last episode, like Katie and Christina both just stiffen up. Like,
yeah,
that's real. I at least believe that,
Both of them in their individual, confessionals in their minds is like, oh, Katie's acting so weird. Christina's like, oh, it's acting so weird. This is where Taylor, drops this idea about how because Teddy is carrying the baby, she's afraid she won't bond with it and that she'll have to adopt her own baby. I am going to take a swing that that's probably not the reason she's not going to bond with that baby. Okay? Like, you got to be in the same state to bond with your baby. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
I think if you want to cement a connection at the beginning, you may want to be there close to the beginning. Not famously, no kids right here. Yeah. Let me just say.
Well,
but that's just an idea.
This is as common knowledge as you get. Man, just be in the room, right? Be in the room. Also, why is Ryder shirtless? Inexplicably.
Like I said, there's this serious stuff. They do the caviar bumps, and then Taylor's talking about the connection to the baby. Ryder comes in with topless shots, and then it's time for the Christina and Katie thing. Let's just do the things. Let's just do.
And us also, too, I love a timeline, but this is really hard for me because they are obviously there all weekend, and we can see it punctuated by Christina leaving and coming. But it's like they took all day, I assume it was a Saturday, and compressed it into just a few minutes. And so what was happening in between? Were they just waiting in their separate corners while they set up the blocking and set up the production or got the mic together? Like, what else was going on? And that you want to break the fourth wall? Give me that kind of shit.
I guarantee you there was 5.5 hours of, I think you should bring it up to her, but she's the one that should bring it up to me. But I'm not going to step in if it's you two's argument. Well, Christina just got here, so maybe we can talk. Well, you shouldn't talk to her right now because she just got here. Well, I mean, and I'm not joking. I do think that
Well,
happens for hours on end.
I am happy that we didn't see that then too. But Christina is just past her breaking point with this comment. And I'm just like, what
I
the
mean,
fuck? Listen, I'm just going to say a hit dog is going to holler. If you are worried about being on somebody's payroll, then you might need to just, and I wrote this down long before Stassi said it later. Like, girl, what is hitting a nerve here with you? Like, why are you hollering? But
well,
she's so
speaking of
right.
hollering, if they're gonna, yeah, and if they're gonna get into it on this reality TV show, who you got? Who you got with these two? Sunday, you've seen a million reality TV show fights. Who you got? Not
Christina.
physically, just okay.
Christina. Katie gets indignant, right? And then
Hmm.
she like gets to a place of like, ugh, this is so beneath me. Like we see her in a minute when she was like, you're not that dumb, right? Like, and she gets kind of snotty about it. And I think Christina, I mean, there's a winning a fight, but I think Christina kind of leads with her heart about it. Now, neither one of them are listening to a damn thing. But also, Stassi's like, okay, great. All right. I just really want all their issues to resolve. What do you think this show's going to be? If everybody gets along like you planned out for this staycation, what's on the other side?
Yeah, they're just gonna
What are
go
the
to
other
Knott's
five?
Berry Farm together and have
Yeah.
a nice time.
What are the rest of the episodes going to look like? Season 2, like, come on, Stassi. What bill of goods are you trying to sell us here?
It's
But
tough though, because Katie does know how to TV a little bit. So when I was thinking about the two of them, really
mhm.
verbally sparring, I was like, Katie does have some lines every now and then when you're like, yeah, you're the old pro at this. So
Yeah,
it's tough.
for sure. And, Christina also kind of floats in and out about her stance on whether or not she was part of Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
Sometimes when it suits her, I was there for this whole show. I showed up because you wanted me to film. You needed somebody. But other times it's like, I had to quit because my partner didn't want me to do it. And other times it was like, I was there, but I didn't even want to be a part of it. Like, so whatever in that moment serves her argument the best, that's what she kind of like leans on a little bit.
No, I think she's saying she was out and then only came back for Katie. And then,
Yeah.
because that's all Katie was just obviously to me, between what Stassi has said, between what Christina's saying, she's all consumed by VPR. And that's the only way to get in touch with her. And
Right, but
so
we're
Christina
seeing
was
it.
like willing to put up with it to do it. But then Katie had nothing to say about her having a child or a family or do anything for her if it wasn't directly related to the show.
Yeah, I just think Christina is just sort of it's a floating comparison in which she does. But Georgie has an announcement.
Hmm.
She's got an apartment in Rob's unit. So when was it that Rob told her that he was going to help her look? Wasn't that literally last episode or was it 2
Like
episodes
2 days
ago?
ago. Yeah.
Okay. Like, okay. And then, like I was saying, expert on things that are super mean, but also true. Where are you going to go, says Stassi, and with what money? Which I'm curious too. With what money? Like, you don't have a job. I mean, I don't know. I'm always curious. Me and Nolan, sometimes we will get preoccupied with the money of it all. Like when we're watching McBee and they're spending like, you know, just thousands of dollars at the casino or renting a helicopter. And we're like, aren't y'all guys in debt? Do we need to be concerned? Like, Georgie, what are we doing? Are you working? But I will
Georgie's
say this.
got Dana. Georgie's got whoever the dad is. Georgie's got Rob probably a little bit, and
I've
she's going to
got a
get
prediction.
babysitting money.
I've got a prediction.
Uh huh.
Georgie's going to have an OnlyFans before the end of the year.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying she's going to do sex work, but I'm saying I think she is going to cultivate some content that somebody will pay for to watch. And then good for her. Let her do it. I mean, like, it's honest work.
It is honest work. Yeah. I thought
Yeah.
you were gunning for her just having her own reality show spinoff. So we'll see.
Stassi would never. Like, you think Stassi would murder suicide them before she
Yeah.
would let this girl have her own thing. Like, there's just no way that would happen. But of course, Stassi poo-poos the whole thing. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you want? Do you want her to stay in your house forever? Or do you want her to move out? Like, you can't be shitty and bitchy about both of those things, which, just kidding. Yes, you can.
No, yeah, she's shitty to start and then seems to come to an understanding and then says she'll give her money to come do some stuff for her. So it's a full, half
Well,
circle
I
there.
know. Is that the arrangement they've had the whole time? Why didn't she make this
Yes.
offer, 3 weeks ago? Because Georgie was acting like she was a fucking indentured servant here who was scrubbing the floors like Cinderella.
Well, it's kind of funny that this is a conversation that go nowhere because Katie is saying that's exactly the thing that these reality conversations do. And I mean,
Okay.
we're just seeing it over and over.
Katie's like super high though. Yeah. Like her eyes are red and glassy and she's like trying to explain sarcasm and hyperbole, which is also too very condescending.
Yes.
And that's Katie's kind of like default. She sort of slips into that of who are you snottiness. And and then Christina, this accusation that Katie's only motivated by the show, so is Stassi. Who cares? That's what y'all are
Hmm.
here to do. Like if the whole point is for us to understand that y'all are working a job, don't accuse her of working the job that the show is about. Like, duh. It's like, duh. We know she's there for the show.
Yeah.
And Christina, well, the bottom line is Katie says, talk to Stassi about it. And later she says, you need to talk to your boss about it. Or I don't know if this is here or
Yes.
there, but she says, talk to your boss about it, which also a little condescending. And there's this whole back and forth about when she didn't hear from her. And Christina was her only ally on the show. And I remember this time, especially when she brings up Sheena.
Yeah, no, another name drop
I
from
know.
Sheena.
I know they're forever dropping some names too, but I remember this time when Sheena gets married to her now husband and it's a destination wedding in Mexico. Much, much has been made about it. On the show, Katie goes, but they made it out, not to spoil anything, they made it out that like that wasn't what Sheena wanted to do, but Katie has since said it was production. Production was making her go. They had to go. And so she apparently got Christina along for the ride to help as a buffer for that. So, because she was pretty on the outs at that point. I mean, I think her and Tom are still married, I think, but Katie didn't show up for her in turn. It's a lot of tit for tat here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's weird when they're having the Katie and Stassi conversation because Stassi, well, they're like, I can't believe someone's, considering storming off. Like, you just did. You left the table. You left the other argument. Now you're here not believing. And yeah, this is when we get
Yeah.
how Christina feels. Not Katie's problem.
And I like how they're all sort of prepping for them to come out. It's like, all right, listen. All right, Silent Bob. When she comes out, like, don't engage, don't make eye contact, like, hug her. And Rob is like, well, Christina doesn't have anybody. I'll hug her. And Stassi's like, don't you hug, Rob. Don't you hug. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go their separate ways. Katie's crying at the table, her weed tears. And Christina is snipping at Stassi on the front. And this is just strange because Christina's never been snippy to her before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, Christina does feel insecure about the being on the payroll, I guess, because Beau said something about, oh, we're not paying her. She's not doing this shit for free.
She's getting her lip balm sponsorship. What do you mean?
Yeah.
She's got something going there.
Well, that's a perk because, but this is the first time I made this comparison, but I'll make it continually throughout the next few episodes that this show is like a snake eating its tail. Like, so
Yes.
she wants them to air it out. They air it out. Then they go wrong. It goes wrong. And then she regrets it. And it's just like this wheel that is never ending. It's like, where is the Freytag's pyramid of it? Where is the resolution or the falling action of it all? It just sort of stays in this cycle that, and I mean, I guess maybe they needed to get to 10 episodes. I mean, I guess this show could have been 3 episodes and it would have been, where everybody's cool, where everybody's fine now.
Well, that's Stassi. If you get a good documentary, you get a good feeling of the person, and however they live their life is kind of how that show or documentary ends up going. And Stassi being in this chaotic mindset gives us a chaotic show because, like, she's talking to Beau about her and Beau's agreement, how the ranking of them two and the kids and everyone else,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then don't forget you threw me under the bus. But we don't have to talk about it right now. Like, let's just bring up all the stuff and then say we don't have to talk about it. And this kind of thing must happen every day or so, because Beau leaves that conversation like, for Stassi, that's a pretty good apology.
Yeah.
That's
And
rotten.
yes, she says, let's have each other's backs. And does she hear like the stuff that's coming out of her own mouth? Yeah, man, have your husband's back. And she even said, when she tries to apologize, she's like, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus, but you did it on purpose. I did it on accident. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. So poor old Beau, just like, schlubby shrug emoji here. And good old wants to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote the thing about lip balm.
I wrote that
And
Stassi could use a weekend of silent retreat right here. I think that's what she
mhm.
needs.
Yeah, I really like the idea of that this show reflecting her own energy. And like we're getting to see, like an artist paints what his energy is or what he feels his aura is, that this
Yeah.
show is really sort of like an exhibition of Stassi's inside, right? Like the movie Inside Out, that we're all just sort of seeing what Stassi's mind looks like. That's a really interesting point and really sort of changes the way that I'm interacting with some of this stuff, because whereas originally I was thinking like she was like a puppet with a marionette, now I feel like the camera has zoomed in her ear and now we're
Mm-hmm.
just watching everything go in her brain. And so that's different. And so
And it's the relentlessness, because we keep going from one
yeah.
thing to the next. And like, we haven't resolved the stuff at this dinner or this weekend or topless shots
Mm-mm.
or any of that before she's like, and I'm going to host Friendsgiving. And you're like,
Yeah.
so you're going to get all these people together in a big house over a dinner,
And
and it's going to be a lot. Mm-hmm.
and her mother.
Yep.
And her brother, and
Yep.
poor old Katie's mom that agreed to do some shit that she instantly regretted. So, I mean, like Katie's mom's just like, Jesus. I mean, I could be at home watching my stories. Like, why am I here? But what do you make of this thing that Stassi says about she feels like the matriarch, even with all the moms there? That's a wild statement to make when your mom
Right.
is literally still alive, sitting next to you at a table.
But isn't it fitting for Stassi to say that? I mean, that's
Yeah.
her, right? She wants the role of matriarchy without being the actual matriarch. I mean, she wants these things without a reason for having them.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a good
she
point.
wants all this to happen, but there is no reason for all these people to air their grievances out in front of you. There is no reason for stuff to resolve if you move on to the next thing all the time. There isn't time for anyone to catch their breath, so it's just go, and call myself whatever I want to be called just because.
I also find it really obnoxious that those kids call Beau Papa.
Maybe he asked for that. I don't
I
know.
mean, yes, that's even more obnoxious. Because the kid's going to call you whatever you tell him to. Do you know what I mean? Except for my grandmother, she got called Mop because the first grandchild couldn't pronounce mother. So she was just stuck with Mop, right? But
I mean,
Papa
it's enough we're getting past BEAU. Come on. That's no good. Let's just go. Let's just shorten that one up and go.
It's I don't know, but Stassi with more patting herself on the back. I am just not usually the one facilitating the resolution. She has really high hopes, and also the phrase is not pink elephant in the room. It's
Thank
just
you.
elephant in the room.
Well, that's two different things combined. Like, pink
Right.
elephants is a thing. Elephant in the room is a thing. Unless somebody's, trying to get off booze and is seeing things, then while they're trying to resolve this, then that doesn't necessarily work out.
Let's take a quick break right here, and then we'll get into the Dayna and Georgie comparison of it all.
All right.
All right. So Jeff just bit a banana without my consent, looking me dead in the eye. So
Hey, that was private. You didn't have to air that in front of everybody. I didn't consent to that. I haven't been coached in this, and this isn't what I agreed to.
You signed up for a job, sir. You do what you were getting into. So, just look at me dead in the face. Yike. So here's where Stassi is talking about her mother and Georgie being the same person. And quite literally, she is describing herself, except for the red hair of it all. They both like to talk shit and stir the pot. They have a habit of lying. They need male attention. And then you could just cut to Georgie talking shit and pot stirring.
Yeah.
But that's Stassi. Like, Stassi does all those things, the male attention of it all. I mean, I don't know. I think Beau would probably disagree with that at this point in their life, but like, Stassi she's just not self-aware. Or is that part of the on-air Stassi persona?
She never has been. I mean, this isn't new. Like, she's complained about other people doing certain things that she does all the time, like forever. I mean, that's been a
Yes, but they
staple.
kind of like on her press tour and in some of the trailers, it was like they build it as like a grown-up Stassi, right? Like
Yeah.
Stassi 2.0 or Stassi 10 years later, and like that's just not what I'm getting. I'm not getting a evolved, self-actualized Stassi at all.
The only part I
Maybe
get, like, she does kind of step out and say, I don't feel like the kid my mom wanted. You know, like she sees the two of them close and
yeah.
doesn't see herself and Dana in that same light. And that's real. I get that. So
And
it's a little.
she says this very strange. There's a couple of things that I really, really relate to because my children are also many years apart, and I'm very many years apart from my siblings. But she talks about how, and maybe Georgie said this, about how they had different moms, and like both of them really
Yeah.
addressed this. And so Stassi had a mom that was working. She probably was in between husbands at this time, and she had to be a provider. Stassi sort of saw that particular energy, whatever dynamic that created between them. And then Georgie got a different mom. Maybe she was married to Georgie's dad and she got to be home more. And Nolan says this all the time about how what a different mom I am to Ethan because like some shit that she would get restriction for days. I'm just like, fine, Ethan. I'm glad you didn't fail the class instead of getting a C. Like Nolan she always complains. Sometimes Ethan will say something and she'll look at me, like she'll cut her eyes over at me, like waiting for me to react in a way. And she's like, really? This fucking guy? But I do relate to that. But what I don't relate to is Stassi complaining about how her mom wants to be closer to her and her children. And she says she wants full access to her. And we know Dana well enough, I guess, to understand why Stassi wouldn't want that. But I mean, isn't that what you want from a parent-child relationship? Your parent to want to seek closest with you, to know your children?
Yeah, I think there's some unspoken stuff here for sure. It's just kind of like, all right, they definitely don't agree a lot of the time, which is weird because where I am in Vanderpump, they get along pretty well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something's happened for sure.
I think I said this. I don't know if I said it out loud just to Brooke when we were talking or if I said it on the show, but Dana gives that kind of mom that's like jealous of her daughter.
Oh yeah, we did. We just talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then is sort of like envious of the attention or the success or whatever that her daughter is getting. And so instead of being proud, she kind of like lives vicariously, but also in a real covetous way, in a real envious way. And I don't know if Stassi doesn't have the therapy to receive that for what it is. And so I think she just clocks it as confrontation.
I mean, yeah. And they really skip over Dana not wanting to accept some things about Georgie's life, you know.
No, instead she wants to talk
kinda,
about Georgie as a 1-year-old flirting with boys. Not appropriate. She was not flirting with boys at 1 year old because so I need to retroactively call defects because that is a horrible thing to say.
She would rather accept that than the fact she likes girls. So
yeah, for sure. And you could see Georgie trying to like shock her into it, which there was a beat there. I couldn't figure out what she said, but we don't have to get into it. But there was something she said to just kind of shock her mom into silence, I think. But yeah, she's a homophobe. Stassi gives a speech about family and chosen family, and the messy ass producers, I'm glad the producers aren't afraid of her, says, hey man, is it still worth it to keep on meddling even though all this chaos is happening? And she was like, yeah, sure. Let's get it all out.
Like when she's questioning about them moving in together?
Moving in together, whenever she is reaching across the table in front of Beau to hold Katie and Christina's hands to bring them together.
Oh, yeah.
When she is like subtweeting everybody at the table. And then even Beau in his confessional is like, I really can't clock what Stassi's agenda is here. You know,
Yes.
Is she wanting them to fight about it? Is she wanting them to talk about it? Is she wanting them to ruin the dinner? Get it out? What is it?
Yeah, and they kind of, I guess Christina and Katie are like just kind of over it. are willing to go,
Yeah.
okay, we'll do it
Well,
for this. And we held hands in this weird way in front of everybody. So
yeah.
we're good.
Well, Christina's Hanson brother partner helped her get over it. Hanson, the fourth Hanson was like, listen, does anybody else care about this? Why do you care about it? And Christina was like, oh, okay. Thank you, fourth Hanson brother. And then, it all worked out. And Stassi probably called them or texted them probably and said, this fucking shit better get worked out on Friendsgiving or else. And that's probably how it went down.
Yeah, there's a lot that really is just like, okay, this whole thing is Dayna versus Stassi. That's all we really need to sort out during this dinner. And Stassi, who doesn't want people blowing up or leaving or doing anything, just talks about removing herself from the entire family.
Yeah.
Pretty big statement.
I say that's a wild swing. And Georgia, I know that Georgia's first language is not English, but sometimes her turn of phrase is so sweet or so poignant and so precious. Like she talks about Georgie having a strong emotional sadness and, and then like at a romantic appointment. And she is feeling she's like empathetic. Like it's sweet the way she talks. I think that's really pretty. But Stassi, feeling protective, jumps in, and this is when she confronts the conversation about Stassi's caused trauma to the whole family.
Yes.
Like, that is also a fairly sweeping statement.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, that's a real big one.
But Stassi's still trying to act like she doesn't understand why people are scared of her. Like, come on. This is why people are scared of you. And Stassi says that there are conversations with her parents, her mom, never get her anywhere, and she pits them against each other. So that's a yike. That's a big yike. And so we leave them there with the Schroeder clan, which I don't think Nikolai or Georgie's last name is Schroeder. I'm not too sure what their last names are. And leave them there. And so then in episode 6, Merry Stressmas is where we pick right back up right there. And this episode, Stassi is sick as a dog through this whole episode.
Yeah.
And your girl loves the timeline. So I really liked it. So we understand that she's really sick, and you could hear her stuffed upness in some of her previous confessionals. So we know that these confessionals are really happening out of order. And then later when she goes to her friend Morgan, has lunch with her friend Morgan, she's also a little stuffed up or starting to get stuffed up. And so I really like to know where I'm at in time and space, and her cold helped me do that.
I love that. Yeah, she catches us up per usual. Like Thanksgiving was okay, which sure, I guess that's an okay Thanksgiving. I don't know.
Well, Nikolai is a rage texter.
Yeah,
too. And so that's where Stassi's kind of like, listen, if you're always going to be team mom, in Stassi's brain, always team mom means never team Stassi. So she's kind of written off, and there's 15 years difference in there. Georgie takes accountability, right?
By walking back the trauma comment just a tiny bit.
And Nikolai's comment where, okay, so you get in 2 years, makes me think that they probably haven't seen each other in a few years and that they are only getting together for the show, which I don't mind, but tell everybody to stop acting like it's a bad thing, right? Like, I'm glad that they're there for the show. That's why I'm watching. But tell Christina to get off Katie's jock or Taylor's jock about being there on the show. Like, it's what we're doing here.
Yeah, not only is she feeling, a little sick physically, just emotionally, her making up battery, because she's done so much of it. All she's done is apologize to these people. It's on empty right now.
Yeah, she needs to refill it with another bitchy blonde girl. Beverly Hills, Rich Kids of Beverly Hills.
This is the first episode where I kind of feel a little of the LA. A lot of the other episodes where you're just inside the whole time and not doing anything else, like this could be anywhere. Whereas Vanderpump, we know where we are in the city, you know where you are. Like here, I finally they're in restaurants. You get outside, you get a little of the LA sun. Just something I liked about this one.
And I also get a sense that they were on a really tight shooting schedule. I think they had to do all of this maybe before the baby was born or before Stassi had to go back and do her podcast stuff. Like something is really driving the velocity of it. But so Morgan Stewart, rich kids of Beverly Hills, and she's like, "Hey, were you with your kids this morning?" "Oh, yes. Had to deal with my kids this morning." It's like, Jesus Christ. I'm
Kids
like,
are a lot.
yeah, kids are a lot. And this is another, I mean, I'm sort of seeing a lot of things maybe I might need to work on myself. I do have therapy this weekend, so I probably should talk to my therapist about this. But Stassi has an issue with folks who can't take care of themselves, which is usually a symptom of someone who was not taken care of as a kid, like their needs weren't met in some other way. So they had to be like really, really self-sufficient. They had to make their own dinner. They were a latchkey kid, whatever. And so Stassi has zero patience for anybody who can't take care of themselves. And I assume she's talking about Georgie here, but maybe Beau too. I don't know. Or her own kids.
I was going to say her own tiny children, possibly.
That is so dark, Jeff. That is
But
so dark.
I know, but I think that's what it is. And she relates it to her own mom, who she says was a boss bitch growing up. But then, like, by the time she's on Vanderpump in her 20s, her mom has stopped working. So she had to do a lot, like get the money from her dad to buy the to rent out the apartment and all that.
Yeah.
So I didn't really see where that was coming from. If she was in her 20s, like when her mom quit working, like, hopefully, like, that's great. If you were, and if she was on to she was also having kids with somebody else in a different family. I mean, if she didn't need to work or was unable to because of having a few kids, in quick succession, then I don't know. It didn't seem as one for one.
That's the thing. It's not in quick succession because she was probably 9 or 10 when Georgie was born.
Mm-hmm.
And so and her mom probably had to work. She's probably a single mom. Only reason I speak of the experience of this because that's how my mom was, right? She had to get up and go to work. I had to walk home from school. I had to let myself in. I had to make my own dinner. I had to be cool until my mom got there at 5:30. Then I had to be cool as she decompressed and smoked her Benson and Hedges. And so, right, my mom just wasn't like, hey, let me get in the floor and play with you, or hey, let me, like that time, because she was tired, she was working. And so I think Stassi is sort of having that same experience. She had to do a lot of caretaking to herself. And then she resents Dayna because Dayna was doing the caretaking for Georgie. And also she perceives that they were really close. And then Nikolai came along and she was for real out because he was the youngest and the boy. And it was like, Stassi, who? And so I think that's a lot of that is this, but anything but therapy. Like
Anything.
She doesn't need it. And she's cool. She mocks
I was going to
Beau
say
for trying to do it. And does she even like this man? I mean,
no, we said before she didn't. Like, she likes the idea of having a husband.
Yeah.
She likes this guy that'll do it. That's it.
I think that she does like him, but she definitely does not respect him in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
She does not respect him at all.
I mean, I'm not really saying flat out, I don't think she loves him or likes him at all. But yeah, the amount of respect she has for him or the willingness to listen to his needs and wants, things that we all associate with love, it is hard to find.
Yeah.
And the question of like meanness comes up and she kind of balks at that, and won't go to therapy, mocks the art therapy. It's just really, it's telling. And it's also like, why don't you try that for a few months instead of doing the show where you expose, because you are saying the things on this show that you would say in a private room with a professional who can maybe help you out. Why is this the way you choose to do it?
Well, because everybody around her says yes. Everybody
and she gets
and
she gets paid for it.
Right, exactly. And she frames it as Beau really likes it when I mean, but that is what the show is about, right? And like the show really likes it. The audience really likes it when she's mean. So why would she have to work on all these things when that is what is so lucrative to her life and her career?
How much of her not being mean has Beau had to choose from? Like what's the percentage she's been mean? Like maybe he only likes that one because that's all she showed her, most of the time. I don't know.
we're very close to meeting Beau. We're at the end of season 5. We're on like episode 18 or 19, and I believe Beau comes around in season 6. I don't believe I looked it up. It's season 6. So we're about to see Beau enter the chat. I think this is a very, very specific position that we're in because, like I said the other day about the time machine that swings back and forth. So this show is going to be over and we're going to see it wrapped up because I think there's going to be some juicy bits in the last couple episodes. I've tried not to get spoiled, but there's some juicy bits coming up. And so then we'll
You
see
don't
the
try
end
that hard, really.
of
I mean, you don't.
well, I mean, when I get content, but since we're doing it in chunks, but like see all of that and then go back to see how it started, I think it's going to be a really kind of a fun way to examine this relationship.
Yeah, and while we're like theorizing on the relationship from stuff she says, we go to the next one where he says he's flat out scared of her.
Yeah,
I
he makes
mean,
a joke of it, right?
yeah.
But I think so. Beau, he's right up there with Jackson, the idioms. He was really hoping to get some
Okay, I'm still not ready.
pepper in his salt. And he turns around. He's like, oh, like a Vegas magician, which is, a fun one. Which Vegas magician, Jeff?
It's not Sigmund Freud, but
It is not
I'm not
Sigmund
giving
Freud.
him, I'm not putting him in the same cellar level as Mr. Taylor just yet.
He says a lot of wackadoodle things, though, for sure.
He looks more
And
like Zach Braff's big brother to me. Like, that's where I would cast him, Mr. Casting Agent over here.
Yeah, or like that Anthony Anderson meme where he's coming from behind the tree, rubbing his hands like, that with the yellow suit on. That's kind of because they were edging it up a little. But he confesses that him and Stassi had a fight. So it's never about what it's about. This right here would probably be if I was Beau, which let's face it, I'm probably not the Beau in this particular scenario, in this particular marriage. I am probably closer to the Stassi. But if I was the Beau, this would be real big for me. Like,
yeah,
like I just said about her, she doesn't have respect for him. She minimalizes, like it was 1 hour. Yeah, it was 1 hour that he asked for. 1 hour. And, she had been gone. And so the timeline's a little bit, she'd been gone to New York for the Tell Me Lies stuff. And he just wanted to sleep until 9 a.m. And also, too, I feel a little robbed. I like Tell Me Lies. I want to see Stassi doing her other job. Hulu, Tell Me Lies is owned by Hulu.
Oh, I thought you wanted to sleep till 9 a.m. That sounds good. That sounds good here.
I want to see Stassi doing her Tell Me Lies job. And so she's banging around and, why aren't you up? I have a scene to do. And now he's in trouble and he has to apologize for something that he didn't do. And yikes. This is tough. Do you think she's going to get mad when she sees the scene of him and Rob talking about it?
I don't really, because he's talking about, what happened and what he thinks. There's really nothing here that without her consent, she minds being out there.
But the cameras weren't there. So I'm wondering if Stassi's trying to like put this Chinese wall between what happened, or Beau is trying to, and now he's sort of like going back on that agreement or something. Like, because the cameras weren't there, is there supposed to be kept pristine? Or I was just wondering, I was like, Beau, I think you might be making it worse for yourself. But
I do wonder about that, because we have this scene and then another scene without Stassi right in a row. And so something came up. I'm like, I need to start paying attention to like the scenes without Stassi. What's being said about Stassi?
And Rob, which I like him, he seems like a pretty normal dude, right?
Yeah,
like,
he's fine.
And
I think.
he's like, you can't live like that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from what we've seen, from the textual evidence we're provided, he seems fine, right? And this is where he confesses to us that he's going to pull a surprise on Stassi. And we're like, oh, you're in danger, girl. Don't do that. That's not a good idea. No, ma'am. And so this is where this Teddy and Taylor, and apparently they live in New York.
Yeah.
So Teddy is going home at 34 weeks pregnant. And by the time she flies, she'll be 35 weeks. That is fairly late in a pregnancy to be flying. I looked it up.
Absolutely. I'm guessing that's a private jet right there.
Yes, but most doctors make you get, or most airlines, a lot of airlines make you get a fit to fly letter from
Yeah.
your doctor to absolve them of any kind of liability. But she's not, Taylor's not going with her. This is, whew, like, she's going to try to stay until the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is risky. And I can't relate to this in any way, shape, or form. And I don't mean to judge Taylor because she is the only breadwinner, but for real? Like,
Well, I mean,
for real?
she's the only breadwinner currently. I don't know what their life was leading up to this, but I don't think, I mean, Taylor was at Sirius, but I don't know that Teddy like wasn't working. I don't think that they are like, if they miss a paycheck, that's it for them and they're screwed. Cause she talks about this financial
Right.
safety net, and honestly, this conversation is something I'm really into. Like, I would love, it's just in the place of this show, it seems a little weird. Like, this is actual real drama. This is not something
Yeah.
somebody said. This is not a misinterpretation. This is, are you going to be there for when I give birth to our child or not? Well, there's career stuff for me to weigh. Like, that's some real shit. I mean, I do have to side with the person saying, like, well, I'm probably just going to be with my wife and newborn as soon as it happens and then get back
Yeah.
over here. I mean,
The
career family
implication,
is a real argument.
and the implication is that Stassi is her boss and is sort of driving the decision because Netflix is pressing Stassi. And so Stassi, therefore, is pressing Taylor. It does seem like a podcast could be anywhere as you and I sit in different places,
Yeah.
but she needs to give it her all. And then she says, "This is why I wanted to wait and have a baby."
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself right there is tough. Well, you know what? What good is that comment as she sits here 9 months pregnant? Like,
Well, I
that
know.
is not a good comment to make. Like, you can't undo it. I mean, and also too, not to be offensive, but women are on a bit of a clock. And
Yeah.
it's not impossible to get pregnant when you get older. And lots of women are doing it, but it is a very different process that takes a lot of time and money. And I don't know. This made me really get the ick from Taylor.
Yeah. And also, I just didn't like that it took place in this show. Like I'm saying, I don't know how much we're going to get
Mhm.
resolved from this. I mean, all we can really hear at this point is like, hey, they had the baby and everything's great, or she had the baby and those two are pissed at each other.
You don't
I
think
don't
that they'll
really
still be
know.
filming by the time the baby's born?
Well, they may. I'm just saying it's a very limited range of
Yeah.
reactions and coverage we're going to get from it. Like, this is a show, like this is this is an episode of some
Mhm.
shows. I kind of
Did
hate
you
that
feel
it's
like
buried in all this.
Did you feel like it was too private or too poignant of a moment to be, sandwiched in the middle of all this nonsense? Is that what
No,
you're
not really. I
okay.
mean, I like that it was some actual real drama thrown into
Yeah.
it, but I do seem to think like, can't you just go for, I mean, what if you are just there for 2 or 3 days? Have you had that conversation with Netflix? Have you had that conversation with Stassi? I am definitely someone who's been like, no, I feel like I need to be here for work, so I'm going to be here. Sometimes that's in your head, and I'm thinking
Yeah.
this is one of those situations. Because you've got
And
time to film all this.
and this might be a factor in why your baby doesn't bond with you. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
and that
you get fired from a Netflix deal, that's terrible and it's really bad, but your baby growing up resenting watching this fucking episode when he or she is 8 or 9 is not something you can get back. I mean,
mm,
Stassi felt guilty about saying "fuck them kids," which I say that all the time around here. I mean, my children know that's how they come to dinner. But this is a whole different thing. Like, really, mom? And I think that has the potential to be really, really upsetting to a child. But she's got financial trauma. Join the club, and she says, "If Stassi says jump, or are you just gonna go?" And she's kind of like, "Yeah."
yeah.
So, yikes.
And that this
And
is a perfect time. Stassi's sick. She's ready to decorate for Christmas. Hightail it over to New York for a couple days. I know it doesn't
yeah.
take long.
And she said that she's afraid it's going to make her love her less if she does miss the birth. It would definitely make me love her less. Like, that would be a wound. I'm just saying, like, that would be a
No,
wound.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. That you could not heal. Like, no, go on and lay in the bed with Netflix because this one's closed. And we are at Stassi's house, and she's just so you can't do nothing with them damn kids running around like, oh, they're screaming, and her voice is so terse, and she's annoyed. And this is a good time for Beau to be like, hey, I gotta leave in like 15 minutes.
Pardon? Excuse me?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And you could just hear,
Uh-huh.
and she's like, I was trying not to get mad in front of the kids. The kids are perceptive. They hear the shift in your voice. They feel your body language. And then there's that little dumb exchange about his beard. And he was trying to pick a fight with her about, you've been looking at my face for 24 hours. Am I even here? Shut up, Beau. Just go get dressed for your casting appointment, your assistant casting appointment.
I didn't like hers at the same time. Like, I may look like I'm not reacting, but inside I'm fuming. Well, that's because you're not reacting. I mean, that is because you're not. That is because you're just bottling things up.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that keeps not working out for you, but all right.
And miraculous timing, the G's are moving out too. And
Mhm.
something about somebody says, I think it's Katie, about non-communication is not normal. Somebody needs to put that embroider on a sample pillow and just hand it out to everybody we know.
Put her on a tea towel. Put
Yeah.
all Katie's quotes on tea towels.
And I just want to defend Dayna-with-a-y just for a minute here about this bag of teeth. So you can't throw the teeth out. You have to keep them because the tooth fairy has to get them, right?
Right.
And so throwing a human tooth in the garbage can feels very strange. So you just put them somewhere. I probably have a bag of teeth somewhere around. Would I think that my kid would want it? Probably not. But it is not the weirdest thing in the world to have laying around. Just say it. So Stassi's on the couch. Beau comes back 2 hours later, and the door is not even shut behind him when she's like, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
And this is
She's
like
on death's door, Sunday. She's on death's
Yeah.
door, and he just ran out. Which, how far are you going in LA in 2 hours? You got out and went somewhere and drove back in 2 hours in LA? I think you just walked down the street.
Yeah, he just went and took a call on his car. um, but he did get the job, and
Yeah.
but I think she really puts a real fine point on it when she says she's mad that they were in front of people. She says it many times. She was humiliated. And not just because he did this in front of people, but because she has made it so public about how she feels about him going back to work. And this is open defiance of her rules and her feelings.
Yeah, and I mean, then they show a show they participated on where she talks about being open to him going back to work. And honestly, like, she seemed more cool and relaxed and like natural than ever on that Vanderpump Villa.
Yeah.
Like, her in that, like, no, I'm very willing to discuss that. I think that's a wonderful thing. I love that you're exploring that. And that's probably, a logical step in our marriage. You splice that with how she's acting in this current couple episodes. I mean, yeah. Hey, running your own show's a lot, isn't it? So why don't you just take that it's a lot and let's calm down. I love when you get to see Stassi be natural and she lets some realness in or out. And I'm like, that's there. Just let's go in that direction. Cause I don't like seeing her this stressed.
I think that you saying that is her natural state versus what we've seen on House of Stassi is not. I think Vanderpump Villa is the outlier, and what we see on House of Stassi.
I mean, I got to say you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. But you can kind of get a little bit of a snapshot of what their confrontations, their arguments look like. She's shouting and yelling, and he's just like, okay. I apologize. He just wants to shut it down, right? He just wants the conversation to be over. He's telling her, you win, I lay down, hands up. And I bet that is how their conversation goes, their quote communication goes.
Yeah. Then there's a tiny little scene like about them giving stuff away or not, a few days later.
Yeah. Is that a few days later? They don't really tell us.
It says
really
3 days later, which we used to joke
later
about them seeing each other or couples seeing each other, a couple days after some argument on Vanderpump. And we're like, did y'all not see each other for 2 days? What were y'all doing in the apartment? These people are married with kids. And it says 3 days later, like, all right, well, we haven't really talked. So maybe it's time. What are y'all?
Yeah.
What are we?
Stassi's probably gone. I bet she's gone, like
Yeah.
out juking or working or whatever. But it seems like Stassi has at least been exposed to some kind of therapy work or something, because she sits down and she says, you need to own the choice to ambush me or to tell me in that way. Like that kind of language is a little bit therapy talk, right? And he's like, okay, I shouldn't have surprised you. And then what he wants from her. This is a man talking to his wife that he's been with for 10 years. Please stop degrading me. Stop mocking and degrading me, please. And this is where we get this whole monologue of Stassi's. I mean, I guess they're, talking back and forth, where at the root of it, she's scared that her safe place, her security, which is Beau, is going to blow up, and that she is going to have to be the one to provide. That's what I'm paraphrasing here, but she says, I want this to stay the way it is because this is what I trust. This is what I feel safe in, and you doing that feels unsafe to me.
I just feel like they haven't really had a whole thorough conversation about how they can both work and make this happen, because
Well, that's
that's
kind of
an
what Beau was
obvious
saying.
thing. They have a nanny, sit down for 1 hour, write it down, go like Monday. I mean, have y'all done a calendar together? Have y'all, like most couples that have dated for more than like 8 weeks are looking into stuff
Mhm.
like that? Where are you going to be for this holiday? What's going on this Tuesday? Hey, it's Christmas time. We're probably going to be in touch a lot. I mean, get it out. Not seeing each other for 3 days also may lead to this, but that comes up in the boys' night versus girls' night thing too.
Yes. And Beau even says that it's not going to be as bad as you think. You are overplaying this. But Stassi claims that it's not about being home alone with the kids. I think it is a little. I
It is
think it's
a little.
intimidating to her. I think she loves her children, as one can do from an arm's length. But it is really hard work to be the default parent, to be the major custodial parent in a house. Like she doesn't want to do that work. She doesn't want to cook dinner. She doesn't want to drive the kid to school. She doesn't want to do bath time. That she said that as much out of her own mouth. And it's just not playing well for her. And I am not trying to come for working mothers. I was always a working mother. And even for a little while, Ethan's dad stayed home with him because, reasons. And so I'm not trying to come for her. I just think she's gotten so used to this particular life that having to do more and give up more and change more is just not in the cards for her. She doesn't want to do it, and she's too afraid to do it. And then boys and girls night, Teddy seems to understand. She's like, "Oh, I understand. Yeah, until you're alone in that goddamn hospital room."
Yeah.
Like,
Well, she's
yeah.
trying, I think, for sure, because that's the conversation that gets both nights started. Teddy's having her talk, Taylor's having her talk about it. Rob always offering help. I'll do that with you. You need me to go?
I know. See, I like
He's always there
Rob.
for it.
I don't care that he dates 20-year-olds. I like him.
Yeah.
I think he might be normal. Sorry, we'll never
Bigger
see him again.
than any pregnancy drama, though. Stassi met Kris Jenner, and that's what we're all here for.
Yeah, she lurked outside the bathroom and waited for her and is mad that Taylor didn't get a picture.
Yeah. You have a similar
Um,
experience to this? Somebody you've fangirled out in front of?
I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
so. I've never run into anybody celebrity too. I've never done. Have you?
Yeah, there's been like musicians I've met after a show and, spazzed out a little bit. So
Yeah.
it's fun.
I do. I would really like to see JB spaz out. That is not something
Yeah,
I
I
have
get
had experience with.
too
Um,
excited.
but
Speak.
when Stassi's talking about how she doesn't have the gift for all this homework shit, that's fucking weaponized incompetence.
Yeah.
That is textbook right there. And Teddy says Beau has lost his sparkle, just like Brittany. I lost my sparkle. I get my sparkle back.
I mean, this goes back a few episodes. Rob's been talking about that before. Everybody, who knows Beau would say that. Now we have people that do know the old Beau saying they want the old Beau back.
Rob was
I
more
I didn't
emotional maturity
understand.
too.
Stassi said she would do everything if Beau went back to work. Like, well, I don't understand what she was. It,
No, I
it's
think
just one of
she
those
was.
statements I didn't see to go along with what she was saying.
No, I thought she was saying she's not willing to take on anything on. That's what she
Just
said.
to
She was
keep
like,
him.
yeah, she was like, yeah, I mean, that's fine. He can go back to work, but I'm not willing to take anything more on. That's what
Yeah.
she said. And that's when she gave that bit about the nanny and the movie in the middle of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Because, yeah,
One person going to a 2 or 3 hour seating of a movie, like that's not 30 to 50 hours a week, which is he's wanting to do.
yeah,
So it's not really the same thing. And then Rob, in the middle of that, kind of assumes they talk about her old boyfriends a lot. Rob's assuming she's
yep.
never had a safe space with those guys. She doesn't, she
No.
does see a safe space with him now. And as we know about people who like where they are in life, have power, have a certain lifestyle they don't want anything to change. And that's what Stassi doesn't want. It's not, she doesn't want Beau to go back to work necessarily. She wants nothing to change for anybody else. She just wants to do her own thing. And that's a good way of putting it, I think. It's another, insight as to
It
where her
is.
mind is.
And when you put it that way, it seems so cruel when you compare it to how Beau is feeling isolated and alone. He says he hasn't felt like himself for 5 years, which is exactly the amount of time he's had children, by the way. And that he is just feeling completely alone. And Stassi just doesn't want things to change. And it's a really hard comparison. It feels like, you're not, it's not a contest, but if it was, Beau would be winning. Beau's
Yeah.
winning the
It's
feelings
also not
contest.
going to play out great when it's him talking about how alone he feels and how much he's had to change. And then you go back to girls' night and Stassi says, Beau's lucky I'm not more controlling. All right.
Oof. I
Mm.
do not want to know what that looks like. But Katie's also like, yeah, this shit ain't for me. No kids for this girl. I'm all set.
Well, and Taylor, again, one more person trying to throw one pass up there like, did you try it? What about therapy? Have you thought about
Sit down.
therapy? Just trying. Just like, I'm going to keep lobbing these things up against the fence here. And one of them's
She
going to get
shuts it
over.
down so hard, though. She's like, no. And Taylor, a little bit, pushes a little and, carrying shrapnel. You need to take a look at it. And then this conversation, too, which they're not at the table, they're all having it in their respective confessionals. I think is foreshadowing for something that the show is going to sell us. But anybody can get a divorce. You can't be together if you're not communicating. All of her friends have concerns, and she just doesn't
Yes.
want to hear it. So I think that the next few episodes are going to be really tightly focused on Beau and Stassi and their relationship, which I wonder how much Stassi loves that.
Yeah. I mean, the closest thing we've seen in our years with Vanderpump so far, as far as a friend saying something over and over again and somebody kind of denying it, is Sandoval talking to Schwartz all the time. Like, as your friend,
Mm-hmm.
you two need therapy. You two
Yeah.
need to back off. You two need to slow things down. No, man. We're good. We're good. While they're actively not treating each other well, they are eschewing therapy or pumping the brakes on this marriage thing 100%. And the friend keeps trying. Hey, man, maybe I ought to.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it's pretty close right now, as far as I can see.
And there's a lot more to come.
Yeah.
And you can almost see Stassi getting more tightly and tightly and tightly wound. Do you know what I mean? Like even in her physical appearance, it's like she's always got her jaw clenched and her shoulders are always up. Like she's just more and more tense. And so it ends with them, the boys and girls night. And so we get a still to come on this particular season. The G's move out. I wasn't going to believe it till I saw it, but so they have a housewarming party. There's more confrontations with Dayna. And I love it when Stassi says, name them. Name them. That's a
Yeah.
very famous line from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills when Sutton is being confronted about what she said. She says, name them. Name them. Love that. Nikolai pitches a fit. And doesn't he kind of sound like Kermit the Frog? A little bit? Kind of?
I'll give you that for sure.
Yeah. There's dodgeball, emo night, and a relationship intervention. So
Yeah. Nick talks also.
yeah. Yeah. So big stuff coming up. now that we are like in the middle, how many did we say there was? There was 10 or
No,
8?
we're 3/4 done.
Okay, so we're 3/4 done. Do you feel the same way about the show with the level of excitement and the level of just like sheer being impressed with the novelty as you did at the beginning?
Yes and no. I do like the way it's being presented a lot still. It is a bit different from other shows. It's not a carbon copy of anything I've seen. So I do like that. Stassi's unwillingness to do things different, to relent a little bit, her aggressive grip on everything does tire me out. And like her directionless way of having a tight grip is even more annoying to me.
Yeah. I
Yourself?
I am turned on Stassi. Like I mean, I just don't know. She's like the anti-hero or maybe just the villain. I don't know, but I just feel like you said it exactly right too about how the tight grip is really exhausting. I just feel like she's wearing too many hats and she's not doing any of them well. And the show, I really like the show, and I really like how the show kind of works down that line in between the fourth wall and what we're not. I like that, but it's growing a little tiresome to hear constantly about how the show is. If you're going to make a show about how to make a show, then like do that and stop
Hmm.
instigating all this dumb fucking drama, right? Let's have a show about the Taylors, how they're going to manage bi-coastal work. Let's have a
Yeah.
show about Stassi and Beau making a calendar. It's like to do the
G
shows
and
that are
G
going to
moving in together. Like that's
right. It's just either I want a reality show about these folks or I want a reality show about a show because now it's just become, it feels like a gimmick now, kind of. So,
yeah. And I think some of that, how you refer to, pop culture moments, like that reminds me of this scene in Housewives where they said this. Stasi has taken that information and rather
yeah,
than you and go, well, here's the situation I'm being presented. That reminds me of this thing when so and so said this. Stasi like takes that blueprint and smacks it on top of her actual life because she knows that same stuff you've watched
yeah,
and we're watching. And instead of putting it through a filter of her own or a lens of her own or with some therapy or with something else to apply it to a real world situation, she just puts that blueprint right on it and goes for it without going, is this right? Is this fair? Is this good for
yeah.
my children? Is this going to make me look okay? Is this what a producer would want? She's not asking enough questions and she's just forging ahead. And I think that's making me, it's not as appealing to me.
And it's not sustainable. Like you said, it's like her real life. She's splashing it down her real life. This
Yeah.
is not sustainable for any kind of real life. And essentially, just like people just were dropping out Vanderpump Rules and kind of coming in and out because of the intensity of it and like the toxicity of it, like Chriselle talks about, that's going to happen to this show, and we're going to lose sight of what is quote real life and what is the House of Stassi life. So I don't know. I'm gonna save my 10. These are tentative
Yeah,
opinions. I'm gonna save
we've got a couple more. So
yeah 2 more. So all right. Well, I forgot to say this at the beginning, but find us on socials at Take a Pinot Pod, TikTok, YouTube. I've been doing a lot better about putting video on YouTube. So if you're interested in seeing us, go over there and leave us a comment, rate, review, all of those things.
thanks very much.